Study Commission meeting held here at the Snow Seekers Club on August 4th, 2016 at 7 p.m. Now for the Pledge of Allegiance, and the flag is over here.
Flag's right there on the wall.
You want me to hold it? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Judy Orzetti's going to say a prayer.
Dear Lord, please be with us tonight to help and guide us to make good decisions for the whole of Highland Township. Help us bring back our God-given rights that you have bestowed upon us to protect our environment, to live a life free from toxins, and guide those that need your guidance. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Before we begin, I would like to, along with the study commissioners, to thank the Nora Bell Sterling, the Snow Seekers Club, and Jim Wolf for allowing us to be here tonight. Now we're going to open up for public comments.
For what?
Public comments?
So if I want to say something, you want me to say it now, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, there will be at the end of the session too, so you have two chances.
Do you guys have is there an actual charter written up? Is there,
Not yet.
and when will that come out?
Hopefully soon, that's what we're doing, that's
I mean,
after,
are we all gonna get a chance to look at it, read it, all that before there's a vote?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. I figured that's what you guys were here for tonight, was
We're
to
just
give us
starting,
that charter.
no, we're just starting to write the charter now,
And every individual is gonna get a copy of it?
as far as I
We're
know.
gonna send out a mailing,
Yeah.
like, everybody who got a copy of the, notice will get a copy of at least the outline, depending on how big it is, and it will be filed at the Highland Township Municipal Building, and we'll have it with us at every meeting.
Okay.
What prompted this whole thing about starting this,
Yeah, that's what I want to ask.
what do you call it, home rule?
What prompted it?
Yeah, why would it, it just popped out of nowhere, as far as I know.
No, home rule has been available to Pennsylvanians, to the nation.
Yeah, but what about here?
Here,
Yeah.
we prompted it because we felt that Highland Township, with the petitions and things that are going up to the supervisors and the people not being able to speak, the township meetings being somewhat chaotic, things aren't being heard. The voters' opinions aren't being heard. So this was what brought on the home rule.
See, the way I look at this home rule is, I know it's different than zoning, but to me, it's all about passing laws and ordinances, and I'm not in favor of any of that. So
Well-
I'd like to know why, what's the, if you're gonna tell me maybe the intent isn't to pass ordinances, but I don't understand how you can have home rule and not have some kind of laws.
Well,
Well,
our intent, sir, and anyways, your name is?
Oh, Bill Zonic, I live right down the road here.
Bill Methvon, nice to meet you. Our intent is, if something ever did come up, if you had a problem with what we elect 3 duly elected officials to do, you have another recourse, another avenue to fight that battle.
Yeah.
So let's say zoning, we're not trying to make any zoning laws or nothing else.
But you could.
You
But the
could.
difference is, if we did, Bob, right?
Yeah.
Bob, if we did, in the end of this, once the charter is written, this charter will either be adopted or failed. It has to be elected on by everybody in Highland Township. It has to pass the majority election.
But it still eliminates one man's views. If Joe down there doesn't want to or doesn't want to throw out a truck, and you get enough people to vote to say that, yeah, trucks aren't allowed in people's yard, Joe's gonna lose his truck. You're taking away the individual's right with this home rule chapter,
Well, actually, you're
and giving it to all the people.
you're giving it to all the people.
That's right, which is a right.
Right
Why
now-
should you have any say over what I have in my yard?
Right
Why
now-
should anybody in the
Well,
township?
but we're not. Well, I'm not trying to say that that is gonna be an adopted agenda or anything like that.
No, but it could.
No.
And once the home rule's in, then you can do it.
But
No,
can you
no,
look
we
at the other,
can't. No, we
can you
can't.
look at the other end of that, Bob? Let's say if the township, and actually I think the ordinance is right now, if the township supervisors did want to enforce that, about cleaning up your property and such as you're only allowed so many junk cars. This gives you a recourse to go to say, I want to keep my cars there.
Yeah, I disagree.
I'm
I
scared.
believe that it does take away the individual's rights.
No, it
You
don't.
adopt this home rule chapter,
GP told
you,
us to
the
say
people
something.
vote on, it. Okay, so 90 out of 100 people say, okay, that's good. We gotta have that. That just took away Joe's rights down there to have that vehicle there.
No, it
really
don't.
did.
No, it
Yes,
don't.
it did.
It has to
The
be
truck has to go.
Tom,
51%.
Tom,
Right.
or is that his?
Go ahead, Tom.
I have a comment. Just being an individual, and I live in James City, and in Highland Township right now, there's an ordinance saying that, I'm gonna say, if your house is within 150 feet of somebody else's house, you're not allowed to have farm animals.
What, not allowed to have what?
Farm animals. Well, I want some chickens, okay? I do want chickens, and I want them in my yard, in my pen. But right now, there's an ordinance saying that I'm not allowed to have them. What I want is after home rule gets in, if it gets in, I can get a petition of about 20 people and say, I want chickens allowed in the township. And if I get a petition of 20 people, then it would go to a vote at the next election cycle. And if the people of Highland Township want to have chickens, if the majority votes yes, then that ordinance is null and void, and people in Highland Township, like myself, would be allowed to have chickens. That's the power of the people.
But what about the guy next to you that didn't want chickens? He doesn't want to wake up and hear them clucking. He doesn't want to smell them. You just took away his right.
But my right is taken away now.
Now, you moved into that with that right in
No, I
back.
didn't. I
When
was
did they
in-
pass that ordinance?
I was in town, I've lived there all my life. They
All right, so
passed
that's-
the ordinance 15 years ago. I built a chicken coop and
Well,
I didn't even know
then
about
just
the ordinance.
protest the ordinance and have it changed the regular way. We don't need
They won't
7
change-
people to change it.
They won't
Three can.
change it.
They
won't
can't
it.
change it. They won't listen to the people is what
Well, then
everybody's
you elect
trying to
different
say.
supervisors that will listen.
The thing is with that, is that we don't have the right to elect them. The judge elected the last supervisor that was in there. It didn't go to the people, it went to the judge in Alp County that elected the supervisors. So we don't have the say who gets that supervisor's position because the judge made that decision.
Bill Rossi, why did they have to go to the judge? Why couldn't they agree over James City?
Exact, that's a
What
good
was the
question.
problem?
That's a
That's a
very
very
the
good
problem
question.
that
What
we're,
is the problem?
What happened,
Are you
Bill?
gonna have the same problem here?
No.
No.
Now, you get 5 or 6, now,
Yeah, more.
I presume that it's half and half, Democrat and half
Bill,
Republican.
no,
no,
Right
Actually,
there, you're gonna have
No.
trouble.
no,
Yes, you
Bill,
are.
this-
Yes, you
Bill.
are.
no, this has
You
nothing
got
to
the
do with
trouble
that.
in James City, you had the trouble in James City.
You're exactly right. The trouble's in James City.
Right.
Out here,
uh-huh.
people are pretty much free. We don't have any problems.
That's why
right,
home
which
rule
is
will never
why,
work. It's too big of an area.
We don't need
James
that.
City
let me,
needs
can I
not
say
the same as
something,
Highland.
please? Right now, the supervisors are, by law, have to go by the second-class township book, okay? When home rule, when we write this charter, they will still have to abide by this book. But they will also have to abide by the amendment that we are writing with the charter,
Well, where aren't they abiding? Now listen, I'm gonna ask you another question, this.
okay?
This is Highland Township.
Right,
I see in the paper Highland Township Water. I'm not associated with the Highland Town. That should be James City Water. The same thing with the supervisors. If we have problems, we go to them.
Right.
Being that we're on the main road, we don't get them. But you go back to Sackett Road, of course, I was born and raised when there's a lot of
Right.
families back there.
Right.
And it was well taken care of. Now it's not.
right.
Now it seems like it's Highland Township. It's James City. And I figure this, if it's James City Water Company, that's the way it should be. Not Bill Rossi where he has to pay Culligan to come in. And that should be James City Water, not Highland
Yeah,
Township.
that's up to James City Water Authority. I don't know who put Highland Water
Well, do
in
you think
there.
that sounds, you're from Russell.
I'm from Russell
I
City.
believe that was a
Yeah.
misprint.
I think it was a misprint too, Bill, because
Because it is a James City Water
Because it is James City Water
Because
Authority, and we have
being in-
Russell City Water Authority out there, and you guys have your own water.
No, I do believe it is
It's
Highland Township
Municipal
Municipal
Authority.
Water Authority.
And being the fire chief of the fire department, I could do tell you guys that live out here in Highland and Russell City, we do supply water to Highland when Highland is out of water and Russell City is out with
They
water.
have done that.
Yeah, and we do.
That's not the water company, that's the fire company.
No, we're still taking out of the
Is-
water system.
When have you ever supplied water out of here?
We do it all the
I
time.
just don't know, that's why I'm asking.
Yes,
To the
we-
camps.
We do it all the time to
For
the
what?
camps, for drinking water, for showering water, we do it all the time, we come out here, we fill out people's tanks. There's one right, I forget the hell the guy's name is, that lives right down here across from Demo Drive. His, camp is directly across, you can go like
Yeah.
this into his, we fill his tank constantly, and there's another one out here on Highland Road
You get a
too.
donation for that every
Yes.
time you do it.
Yes,
Okay, so you're getting money for it too, so that's,
donation for the fire department.
okay.
And the water comes out of the fire department, because the fire department
This
also has to
isn't
pay
about
water.
what this meeting is. This meeting is the home rule.
Right.
Commission meeting. We have to stick on task.
I was just letting them
I
explain.
know, we have to go on task.
Excuse me, I'm Joanne Rossi. When you first started, you made comment about the supervisors. You were here because the supervisors won't listen,
Yes.
you know.
Right.
Well, it seems like, to me, and you fill me in, it seems like there's supervisors and there's going to be home rule people. And then will be,
No.
No.
Joanne,
What will
what-
How
happen?
many chiefs?
Go ahead.
No,
What will happen is, once home rule, if we just develops a charter, then we disassemble. The 3 supervisors are gonna do what they've been doing, like 98% of the township code will stay the same. The only differences is that us, the voters, will have a right to petition and a right to initiative to have our voices counted as well. So 51% of the voters, or the citizens of Highland Township, will have the vote, other than just 3 supervisors.
If most of the
You're
people
gonna
are in James
dismantle?
City-
Yeah, we're.
No, right,
temporary.
the 3 supervisors do everything, but we'll have a choice on some local matters that we want to get involved in as citizens. We'll be able to vote on it.
right.
okay. And so, I come up with an idea that I want accomplished, and then I will approach you people as the heads of this home rule.
No.
And
No.
you will.
No.
No.
Okay, then.
No, if
Okay,
you want
let's back
something,
up.
then you'll go and you'll get petitions, be a petition, get a percentage of people to sign that petition, and then you take it to the supervisors.
In other words, I want to have a hole dug on the road down there. So I write it up and I go around and get so many people to sign it, and then, so everything that you want to approach the supervisors with, you make up a petition and have signatures. This is how it's going to be run? This is what I don't understand.
And then you have to wait for an election.
No, not everything.
Not
Only
everything.
certain high priority things that you feel are important. So how many petitions are in the home rule charters that are going right now? Like the one in St. Mary's and the Grand Township. There's very little initiatives from the voters per year, maybe 1 or 2. So it's not something that happens every day.
So, okay, and you've lost me. You said that the supervisors will not listen to what the residents want to bring before them. They ignore them. That's what I understand you're saying.
Yes, that is correct.
So
May I interject something, please? I mean, not to interrupt, but actually what they are saying is it's not that the supervisors don't listen or won't listen. They actually don't have to listen to the people.
They don't have
At this point, this structure, they don't have to change their minds on, say they decided, 2 supervisors decided that a landfill would be a good idea. And everybody don't want a landfill. Most people don't want a landfill. Presently, if they get stubborn,
you will get a landfill. With home rule, you have a voice and you will not get a landfill, is my understanding.
Well,
Yeah.
couldn't you
Yes,
go-
that's
Yes,
correct.
that is
Nicely
correct.
put, Frank, thank you.
Yes, nicely put.
Mr. Rossi, you had a question?
I was gonna say, couldn't you go around with a petition right now? It's something that you didn't agree with, go around to the whole Highland Township and have a petition?
You can't, Mr. Rossi, because.
Can't you go to the
No,
supervisor?
because you can take a petition and you can present it to the supervisors right now.
If you had a 7580.
It doesn't matter if you had, it doesn't matter if you had 100%, Mr. Rossi. If they do not believe in what the petition that you gave them, they do not have to act on that. That is
Right.
part of the powers of the supervisor that we're trying to, I guess, for lack of words, curtail a little bit.
Right.
Curtail.
Dilute.
Yes.
'Cause
Yeah.
right now, there's a petition up at the township building with over 400 signatures on it from Highland Township. Highland, Russell City, and James City. The township right now,
Okay.
if you guys come to the township meeting, they're gonna pretty much throw that out. They're not listening to the people. They are throwing that petition out with 400 signatures on it.
It's the ejection well
Right.
ordinance he's speaking of.
So it'll give the right, with this home rule, it'll give the right back to the people, stating that the township will have to listen to the people instead of just listen to the two people saying, no, we don't want that, we're not paying attention to that stuff that you guys give us. The whole community of Highland Township will vote on it. Then the three supervisors have no choice. Then they have to listen to the people.
You said something about that injection well,
Yeah,
okay? You
that's what he was
said-
talking about as well.
Yes, you said that you were taking it to the township. Well, isn't that have to do with something to do with the James City water supply, the James
No,
City?
the supervisors are there to protect the community's health, well-being. So
My-
that's the issue there is, when we take that to them, if we took that to them, they just set it aside. And they actually had Elam Herr come up from the PSATS, which is the Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors. Now, what they do is they are basically the go-to for the supervisors. If they have a question or any problems, they'll call them and they'll help them out. And annually, they have a conference, which their number one supporters and sponsors are Shell Gas, Marcellus Shale gas companies. So from the top down, from the state being for gas, they let our township supervisors, this is my hypothetical thought anyway, is it's the interest is for the gas companies, and that's why they're voting against it. Because the corporations have more rights than we do, and that's what home rule is about. If we had a home rule and we wrote a charter and we decided on going with that, the home rule charter's first thing would be is to if they do take away the ordinance for the injection well, we would reinstate it because that has, that ordinance covers us as people. It's like a Bill of Rights that provides the people of Highland rights
Do you
instead of the
realize-
corporations.
I don't mean to jump in,
Go
but
ahead.
you realize, since 1950, all around here, they have done fracking, injection, not just there. Probably over James City, I imagine, within a half a mile.
Yeah, this ejection well is
That
it's
goes
different.
down to the mine.
Yeah, because it's pressurized.
Yes,
Hydrofracking.
they're putting,
But Bill,
was
but
there.
Bill,
Over
what-
2,000
Bill, what we're
PSI.
getting on this conversation, the kind of injections, and I got it right, the kind of injection well that we're talking about right now is you use some form of water to do this. You use some form of water because they're trying to drive the gas formation to another
Yeah, I
well.
know all that.
What this kind of injection well is what we were talking about, and I think there's one that just got permitted for out in Owl's Nest. I might be wrong, don't quote me on this, is right now what they're gonna do, all the bad parts of the water that come in that they don't wanna tell anybody, the acids, the uranium from the deep core, they're gonna come, and that's actually gonna be like a garbage disposal. They're not looking to push gas at this. They're looking to get rid of their runoff water that they
Right.
do not wanna treat and get rid
What
of.
happened to the environmentalists and inspectors? We used to do that back at Owl's Nest, you know.
They still did it, and those guys say it's okay.
They've been right there, and the guy said, drink it. I mean, I had 38 years in it, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but I don't think anything that they're bringing off of Marcellus well that we'd wanna put in water.
I don't know, I just,
I mean, it's different. What you're thinking, this is two different types of injection wells that we're
It'd be
looking at.
different if they were taking
So,
it back
yeah.
out of the ground. They're not planning on taking it back out. They're planning on stuffing that well full until it can't take any more. Wherever it goes down there, it goes.
Something like
All
15
the
trucks a
wells
day.
around here
More than
that are injected, they take it back out on a regular basis.
no, not always.
Not all of it comes out.
And I mean, 1,800 feet, you know, well.
And the other thing about, say the injection well goes through in Highland or in James City, then they'll probably, maybe not Seneca, but some other company will probably have an easier route to be able to go anywhere in Highland and
Come
put
in
in
over here
an
in
injection well.
Highland and actually put an injection well in over here in Highland and ruin your guys' springs.
How are you
Because
gonna
right,
stop that though?
that's what we're trying to do with this home rule, is that we're trying to keep, putting an ordinance in. Because right now the three.
How can an ordinance stop it, if it's as bad?
It can't stop it. It is a layer of protection from it. It won't stop, nothing, the home rule is not a magic bullet against the oil company. That's not all what we're here for. One point a visualization for you guys, you're taking a glass of water and just poured it.
Okay, what's the
down.
other things that you intend to? You know, I really wanna know. you know?
Right. The other things are yet to be written. That's the purpose of these home rule meetings and purpose of these public comments, is we want input from everybody here and everybody out there, and what kind of government do you want to have in Highland Township?
Tonight was a thing, that's why we wanted to come out here, is if you people at this part of Highland Township, if you had any concerns or something that you'd like to see changed in the government, that's kind of why we're coming out, because we're trying to get with all the people to see if there's something that isn't working in Highland Township for you that needs changed.
Well, one thing that I don't think is right, and you can fill me in, is I read the newspaper, you know, after these meetings. It sounds to me that the James City Water Company is being taken care of by the township. And why should we, as taxpayer in the whole township, be paying for the problems that water company is having? Why doesn't that water company take care of themselves? And that was one of my concerns.
Right.
That was one of the concerns that I have, and I don't think we as taxpayers should be footing the bill. And one gentleman said, and if there's, we'll be bankrupt, and I thought, why should we be bankrupt? That has nothing to do with us out here, but maybe I misunderstood it.
I am from James City, but I perfectly agree with you. I should, as a James City taxpayer, shouldn't necessarily have to worry about your problems and vice versa, 100%. The problem with the injection well, if you take a glass of water and you pour that water does not stay right where you poured it. That water spreads out onto the floor. That's exactly what's going to happen with this injection well. They're going to pour that garbage under there, and it's not going to stay right there, you know, 2,000 feet away from James City. It's going to go out and spread out. We're not only trying to protect James City from this, we're trying to protect Highland. Like I said, take Sue's bottle of water there and pour it. It's not going to stay in the exact place it hit. That water is going to spread out just like the waste will.
How are you gonna protect? I don't understand what you mean by protect. What layer of protection you
A
talking
layer
about?
of protection.
What
We're
do you mean?
trying to stop we're trying to stop big companies from being allowed to poison Highland Township.
Yeah, but how you
We are
understand
not
It's gonna cost
disposable.
us money with lawyers, and that's all you guys, if you guys have the problem, you guys should be paying the lawyers, not us.
It's not just
Well,
a
if you do
James
this
City
home rule, we
problem.
will be, it'll be everybody's problem then.
That's a big problem. It's,
It is-
everything's
it
about
is
James City.
currently
I understand
everybody's
that. You
problem.
got problems because you got people out there, but, You know, what if,
You have a well, sir?
I have a spring?
You have a spring. One of our biggest things that I didn't like going up to the meetings, and I go up to all the meetings, I forget the name of the couple that's having a problem.
Right down here in Manos.
Yes, Manos House, thank you.
That's a different story.
We know the whole problem.
I understand their problem.
I don't know if they have a problem or not, but what they said to me, I actually felt sorry for them.
500,000-gallon pond down there, no, they're not having a problem.
Oh, I didn't know.
You've got to take care of your pipes, dear. If you want to have water come to your home, you've got to maintain them.
Well, I wouldn't know their layout on
We need to
their
get back on
house.
the issue. I'm sorry, I'm kind of a newcomer to Highland Township, and I have a science background, and this injection well is the whole reason why we want home rule, for those of us who are interested to do, because we have to do something to stop them from doing it. I don't want to be the guinea pig. Let's put all that crap down there. If you have ever seen a report of the stuff
Exactly.
it is radioactive, it is carcinogens, it's horrible stuff. I don't want that put in the ground. I don't care if it's in James City or in St. Mary's. I don't want that to happen.
Okay, well, what's this
And
level of
when it
protection
does
you're talking
happen,
about?
and
I
it makes
understand.
my well no good, and your well no good, and all of our wells no good, and our water's no good, your home's worth crap. And now you have
Exactly.
nothing. And now you're bringing water in to drink. Go look out west and see what they did to some of those states and those poor people who can't drink their water. They bring it in. This is a water to drink and air to breathe are the basic rights that human beings have to have.
You're
to
getting off
live.
topic here.
I'm not getting
No,
off topic.
it's-
she's
You
not.
pollute our
Susan,
water
where
with
it
the
says anything
injection
in this thing
well.
about injection wells.
Bill,
We're
that was
talking
gonna
about
be-
changing policy so that they can't go forward.
All right, what's the level of protection she just mentioned?
That's fine, but
What
I'd
is
like
it?
to see you guys quit attacking them like it's James City versus Highland,
It
because
is.
it isn't.
It usually is.
No, it isn't.
They have
Then
problems.
you live in the wrong country, because we're supposed to be together.
Exactly.
No, I'm not, I'm hearing you.
Okay, guys.
All right, hey,
Okay, hang on,
Shut up.
Okay,
God,
all right,
hang on,
guys.
guys.
Please be cooperative and let's work together. We all live in Highland Township.
Hang on, to simplify,
No, I'm not.
it's to simplify it
You need
enough.
to leave.
Hang
You
on,
can't handle it.
hang on, guys. We are getting off a little track.
John,
Is
sit
it worth
down.
it? Is
Sit
it
down,
not worth
please.
it?
Yeah.
Got crazy people in here like you got out in James City. It's just the
We're
same damn
getting
crap.
off a
John, sit
track.
down.
Person
We really
with
need
rights
your
has a
input,
right
please.
to speak. That's not crazy.
The only thing that the home rule is mainly for is giving the rights back to the people in Highland
It's
Township.
not specifically about the injection well.
Right.
It's not specifically about making the supervisors listen to it. It's not specifically about any one thing. It's things in Highland Township that the people feel need to be changed.
I'd like to say
That's
something.
what this whole thing is about. It's not
We need to limit
specifically.
public comment to
This is
15
totally
minutes.
Yes,
different
and
than
I'm not gonna be
we're
here
talking
till 10
about.
o'clock
Injection
tonight.
well.
We got one over there. It's
I think that in this home rule charter, it should be a priority that from my view, there's three distinct areas of Highland Township. One is James City, one is Russell City, and one is the Highland Corners area. All right? And each one of these districts, you maybe need to draw some lines. And you need to have a representative or a supervisor from each one of these areas. And we can put a lot of this crap to bed.
See, that's some of the problem that we're trying to
If nothing
change.
else, we need to annex James City and move the township business back out here where it was for the last 100 years.
That's the thing that we're trying to do with home rule, is because like I was saying earlier, is that the judge in Elk County made a
I know all
decision.
about the judge in Elk County, I was there.
So was I.
So that's why we want to give the
But
vote back
here,
to the people.
What I'm saying is, if nothing else, you need to see about how you can redistrict this
We haven't even
township
started our meeting
so that
yet.
we have
We haven't started.
representation. Because right now, we don't have any representation out here.
Right.
All right.
The only
I totally agree with
representation I
you.
have out here is I have a township truck running down the middle of the Highland Road here, and I gotta run in the ditch. And I don't give a shit who's driving it. Excuse my language, people.
Well, that's one of the problems. Like when you came up to the meeting, John, I don't think the answer is I drive the road every day. I drive the road every day, we're getting 2 truckloads of gravel. Everybody pays taxes here. If you have a problem with your roads out there, I think, and this is trying to make a start that there's a recourse. Instead of going up there and getting all upset and you're arguing about the road being like that, maybe we can force them to actually do something about it. Because they'll go on about us being broke, John. Me and you darn well know they're not broke.
Well, I checked into what you said, and what you said is true. They've got 800 and some
That's
thousand
right.
dollars to play with. Now, listen to what I have to say here, because this is what my feelings are since I've been at your last meeting. And I don't need to be screamed at, young lady. I don't like it. I don't have to listen to it. I'm an old man, and I'll have a heart attack. Now,
Yeah, I'm gonna say 7:45.
from what I understand, this petition thing is what we're gonna have to come up with. Well, here's the problem. We got 5 voters on my street, which is a mile. There's another 3 or 4 voters down this way. There's a good many people in this Highland that don't vote. So if we have to get a petition up, we have to go to James City. And what this gentleman just said is the rightful thing. We need to get 3 different
But
supervisors.
honestly,
You can't
John, you're
do
gonna
what's
need,
going on right now.
John, you're gonna need 20. And I
You
said,
can't use 20 people. Christ, 3 people can't even make a
but I'm
decision.
saying now, right now, think about what you said. Now, if you brought that petition to my house, do you think I wouldn't sign it? It must bug me. I must have brought it up to say, I thought that was a BS answer to give you. You think I wouldn't sign it?
Well, I'm sure you would.
I
What
would.
I'm
Now,
trying
you gotta
to say-
you gotta look at common people, like us people that are sitting up here and the people in this room right now, we're trying, and we don't got all the answers. We're just trying to make a step to make it, instead of being James City, Highland, DeYoung, to make it Highland Township again. Because as much money should be coming out here as they're spending in James City. And I live in James City. And I'm saying,
I don't think it comes to a money thing. It comes to the amount of people in a certain area who is making the decisions right now.
and this
Right
is,
now.
I know, and this is the only way I can foresee that we can take a step forward and start changing some stuff. That's, I mean, I wish I had a better alternative. I mean, I wish,
I wish the hell I did too.
you know where I'm coming from, John?
But there, you come out here, you've got, so to speak, 50 to 100 people voting out here
Mm-hmm.
in the whole, and that's Russell City and here. Versus James City.
There isn't one in James City that vote.
Well, I know, but the same thing.
It's almost split down the middle. If you
But
look at
that's
it, it's
who's-
almost
that's who-
split down the middle.
Who's on your board?
I understand that, but that's why I
That's what I
said,
say, we don't
you know,
have any.
we need some lines drawn, and we need I don't know what it needs to be, whether it needs to be an ordinance or whatever, or some governmental body that says,
Yeah.
you know, we got representation in all 3 areas, or how many areas you can come up with of the township other than one area, where all the so-called leadership falls out of the same pot.
Well, people need to run.
Yeah, we've
It's
actually,
out here, we've asked, I've walked around trying to get people in different areas, Highland, Russell City.
That's not what I'm saying.
Or in
If
supervisor.
it was district, there would be somebody to run.
Right.
And they would be sure that the
If it was
people
district,
here
it
would
would.
have
But what if we
representation.
didn't?
The people in Russell
Nobody's
City
even
would
writing
have
this down. These are good
representation.
ideas. This is not what you're here for.
Yeah, you
He
can
is
check my
right
notes
here.
if you want.
He's taking the notes.
Yeah,
I am too.
I have it right here.
I'll tell you what happened to me.
have
and
to
Lynn
limit
when I
this
come
to
here and I
5 more
asked
minutes.
Mr. Wolf why he bought a truck that was not 4-wheel drive so he could plow snow. Told me it's none of my business. True story.
we have to limit public
all.
comment to 5 more minutes so we can get on. We haven't even
Go on with
started
the
our
meeting.
meeting.
We'll shut up.
Oh, no.
All
Well,
right, I got one more question, because
Go
you
ahead.
said, and this is all about home rule, you said that this commission dissolves.
Yes.
Everything I've read, I've never read that.
Yeah,
And I have read a lot on this home rule commission, I've never seen it.
Where'd my book go?
And there's, nobody up there is telling all the people too, it gives the home rule commission,
This is my
it
book.
gives them the right to raise taxes.
No.
no.
Yes, it does.
No.
Yes, it does, according to Katie Shapner from WPSU.
All right.
I can tell you one thing in our agenda that we're writing, we are not gonna raise taxes.
Let me ask
But
you.
once you get the home rule in, that can change.
No,
No,
you have to take it
No, I'm
around.
gonna ask you this
Candy.
question.
Wait a minute.
Everybody in the room, raise your hand if you want your taxes raised. No, nobody wants their taxes raised. So if we're going on a vote,
My taxes raised.
nobody wants a tax
Well, I'm
raise.
telling you, that gives this home rule, it gives the commission the right to raise, the right,
Can I see a vote?
granted, it still has to go in a vote in an election.
Right.
But it takes it, you know, it
open one
puts it in your
has to
hand,
go
it gives you
down.
a lot of rules,
But right
a
now,
lot of laws.
Right now, if 3 supervisors wanna raise your property taxes, two, they're gonna raise them.
Right,
You
and
don't
they
have-
aren't
you
raising them,
won't-
that's
you
why we
won't have a
voted
say
2 of
about
them in
it.
there.
We can also write that in a home rule charter.
Yes.
We can write that into a home rule
Well,
charter.
there's something that needs to be wrote in there about
Right,
that.
that's what we're asking you guys for public
You
about.
don't want higher taxes, you can fight it. Right now, you can't fight it.
Yeah, so we can write into the code limit to 5, because they're not allowed to take it above 5 mils right now.
It's already
Well,
written,
that's
that's
by the
what I was
state.
coming
The home
at.
rule
So that's
says they
already
can do
written.
that.
No,
No,
Bob, they
That's
can
already
raise
raised.
your taxes.
I'm a widow.
You can only, your taxes can only be raised 5 mils every year.
And that's what
That's
we're
That's a
it.
state rule.
That's
Once
a
this
state rule.
commission's in, the state rules
No.
don't actually.
No.
Home rule is still subservient to federal and state
State
laws,
law.
all of them.
Well, we
We're not trying to
additionally
get
put it in
home
a
rule
charter as
Highland
well.
Township to take anything from anyone.
No.
We're just trying to give the rights back to the people.
I'm just saying, you've got a bunch of people up there that are in this commission. All of you guys are for it. There is nobody in this commission looking for the bad things. There's nobody up there pointing out, hey, you know, wait a minute, they might take this a little too far. They might, you know, nobody's up there doing that. So
Well,
it's a bias.
if it's true about the
Like
tax,
your thing with the taxes, Bob, it would still have to go on the ballot. And I'm just gonna use this for analogy. So you get 20 people to say, hey, I wanna raise Highland Township's taxes by 20 mils, which is illegal to do anyways. Now, do you think the general voting public is gonna put up with that and vote to raise their taxes? And I'm just using this as an analogy. There's no way you're gonna get 51% of the majority. John, I think, John, our whole voting delegates, I think it's roughly around 600 people. So we're looking 51% of 600, so we're looking for 301. Do you
Okay.
think you're gonna find 301 people to vote on that, if it comes to a referendum and goes on the ballot, that they're gonna raise your taxes?
How about this?
there's
They put it on the
317.
ballot to say, all right, we gotta raise taxes 3 mils for everybody in the township to pay for James City's water. They go around and get a petition, they get
That's not
300
gonna
people
happen.
from James City to sign it, they vote on it, all of a sudden
You
now
can't-
we're paying for
But
it.
you can't do that
can't do
anyways,
that.
because even though it says Highland Township Municipal Authority, it is actually a sanction. Highland Township Water Authority, which I'm calling James Cities, and Highland Township are 2 still separate entities.
But it could change with the
No,
home rule.
it could not be, because you're not gonna absolve that, that's natural law. And it's been duly stated at the township meetings that they are 2 separate entities.
Yeah.
They are 2 separate entities.
51% vote, that could change.
You can't, that's not
Yes, it
gonna
can,
happen.
I read it. I looked it all up, I've read all this is the way it is. Like I said, there's nobody up there that is bringing out the bad parts of this.
If we put that in the charter, that we're gonna limit to 5 mils, and it's in the charter, that's our constitution. That's what we abide by.
Right,
So, yeah.
a couple years down the road, it could change.
No,
No,
it can't.
it can't.
Yes,
because-
it can, with a
No,
vote,
it
anything can
can't.
change.
No.
According to the home rule book,
Not the
you can
state
change.
laws,
Yeah.
not the state and federal laws. We
Stop.
have to go by them.
Wait a minute.
Okay, all right,
John's
that's
done.
fine.
Read the whole thing or what?
I made my point
I
there.
can read it.
Never heard it,
Either I
it's
can,
true.
whichever.
This
I've read
is-
it, I mean, they got nobody up there.
Did you
pointing out the
read-
bad.
Did you
Did
read
you
the
read
home rule
this?
book?
This
No, I
is
just read a
given,
bunch of articles.
this book is from the Pennsylvania, this is the Pennsylvania law on what home rule charters can and cannot do.
Right.
All right, this is issued by state, all right? Taxation is a critical field in consideration of home rule powers. Without adequate revenues, no municipality will undertake extensive new governmental functions. The general practice in the United States is to remain power over taxation in the state legislature, not in home rule, in state legislature, and forbid the exercise of home rule powers in this field. Would you like a copy of this page? Sir?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Where did this come from, this, the thing says, what is home rule? Where did you get this?
Out of the book.
I can't see it, I'm sorry.
can't
It's
either.
a thing I got in the mail, it's
Oh,
a
it's a
notice.
flyer.
Oh, okay.
It's up fly.
Yeah, they're in the handbooks.
That's
and-
in this, that's also in here.
And if you go on the internet and put in home rule, you know.
Well, I did, I looked through this on the internet, and there's a paragraph missing out of that, that's why I was wondering where it came from.
Okay.
How long has St. Mary's been on home rule?
Since
Hold on, hold on,
1994.
I can show,
believe.
I can give you the exact
Yeah.
How
date.
about Warren? I saw Warren was.
Yes, Warren's on it too.
Warren City's been
1978.
home rule since 1978. St. Mary's City has been a home rule since 1994.
Go back to Youngsville.
There's Youngsville.
Youngsville Borough has been home rule since 1976.
So if I'm understanding what you are saying today, you are saying that being home rule means that you still have the township supervisors.
Correct.
But that any citizen in the township who would like to make a petition and get a certain number of signatures can then bring that petition to the supervisors. And then what happens to it at that point?
The supervisors then make a decision on what they want to do with that. If the decision, there's a whole referendum process that I'm not an expert on.
Well, can't
And
they just dismiss the petition then?
not under a home rule. Currently, yes. Currently, under the second class township code, they can just dismiss the petition
Like
and
they're
never
doing
look
now.
at it. Within a home rule charter community, they cannot just dismiss a petition. They actually have to take it seriously, and we can force it into a ballot in November or in April. There is a procedure that you can do if you feel strongly and you're motivated to make something happen or
Then there is no
stop
other
something from
government people
happening.
involved. It's the supervisors and the people who live here.
Correct.
Who decide to write a petition based on something that they don't like that is happening. Period. End of
Correct.
discussion.
That's correct.
You have nothing to do with
No,
this.
we'll be disbanded
Okay,
once this
thank you.
charter's written.
Could I ask a question?
Sure, Joanne.
One more question.
Okay, someone has something very legitimate that they want to bring before the supervisors, and it doesn't seem to be moving. Now, who is the person that, and it's already been signed by many on a ballot, many people. Now, who is the person that's going to take it to see that it's put on the ballot to be voted on? Who does that?
Who oversees the supervisors, kind of like?
No, dear. Who is going to see that that is put up for vote?
Right.
I believe the
Like Amy, you decide you want
I
to
believe the
have
secretary.
village put in, and so, and it needs to be done.
Highland Township
You
secretary?
sign
Yes.
it. and-
I believe the secretary, the township secretary,
Submit it to
she's
board.
looking for,
Would
I'm
probably
looking for the
submit it to
exact
the Board of
record.
Elections.
That's important to know also.
Yes.
Where does it go? Because
that's
if
what we
it
were
Yeah.
saying,
How many people do you need on a
real,
petition?
It would be filed at the,
we're not real,
That's part
we're
of the
not
referendum.
experts on the referendum, but she's looking right now to see, but I'm pretty sure it's the township, secretary,
takes it to the Board
that
of
she has
Elections.
to take it to the Board of Elections.
And out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has to do that. That is her job.
Yeah.
If she doesn't do it, then she'll
There's
either.
time parameters
There's a
that
time
they
frame,
have
and
to
if
do
she
so.
doesn't do it, she's in major trouble.
I guess a more important, just as important issue would be the wording of that petition.
Right.
Right.
To go on, when it does, if it does make it as far as getting on the ballot, would be proper wording of it.
Yeah, petition's
So
very
that it-
specific.
So that somebody doesn't word it,
What's that?
so that it actually means something to what the
So
intent
this is
was.
what you're
Right.
saying, if
I
you
think
have a
20.
petition and you get all the
If you get
signatures
20
and
signatures, all you need is
take it to the
50%.
supervisors, this is what it's
Yeah.
all about, I understand.
15
This
signatures.
is what Home's Rule is all
That's
about.
it?
That's what I'm
10% of the
understanding,
voters.
this is what it's all about.
Right?
So then,
Currently,
to
under
get
state law,
the
it's
supervisors
10%.
to do their job, what needs to be done for the township.
Did you find it?
So then, anytime a meeting or a petition isn't met, then that goes to vote, is that,
Right. What, yeah.
Meeting's done.
that's the idea of
I
home
think
rule.
Mrs. Rossi's asking, basically if the supervisor still refused to act upon that, if you had a petition, then it would go to a referendum process.
Okay.
We have no quorum, the meeting's gonna be done in 10
So
minutes.
that's what this home rule is all about.
Yes, sir.
That's right, no, I'm just agreeing with you, I mean.
All right,
Okay, we need to move on, there'll be
All right.
more public comment at the end. Go ahead, John.
all right, at the July 31st public meeting, a few of the people who attended stated they were unable to hear us voting on whether or not to write a charter. So I would like to ratify our vote. So I make a motion to write a home rule charter for Highland Township?
I second it.
All in favor?
Opposed?
Show of
All in
hands.
favor by show of hands?
Everyone? Okay.
In the school.
In the squirrel?
Yeah, the squirrel too.
And the squirrel voted too.
All right, now, reading, make a motion to hear the reading of the minutes.
Second.
I have two different meetings here that we have to read tonight.
All right, the one for 7/21.
721, location Highland Municipal Building at 1900 hours. Roll call of commissioners. Amy Beers was absent. Misty Ettinger present. William Ettinger present. John Gurris present. Lloyd Huling is absent. Matt Vaughn present. And there was a vacancy at that time. Public comment period was opened by Chairperson John Gurris. Donation of $20 was received by Mary Dean, $39.75 from recycling. Marcia Buell is organizing a community picnic event at the pavilion and held on July 31st at 11:30 a.m. She will gather donations and is asked people to bring a dish to share. Minutes from July 7th were read by Misty Ettinger. John Gurris made a motion to accept the minutes as read. Bill Ettinger seconded. Commissioners voted 4 yes, 0 no. Motion passed. Treasurer's report was tabled until next meeting. Report was unavailable at this time. Agenda. Bill Ettinger made motion to accept the agenda. Misty Ettinger seconded. Commissioners voted 4 yes, 0 no. Motion passed. Reminders and announcements. John Gurris stated that all Home Rule Study Commission communications are public and discoverable. The Home Rule Study Commission will follow Robert's Rules of Orders for conducting meetings. No old business. No responses to date have been received for the ad that was placed asking for letters of interest to fill the vacancy on the Home Rule Study Commission. Misty Ettinger made motion to appoint Judy Orzetti to this seat. Judy Orzetti was present at the meeting and accepted the position. Bill Ettinger seconded. Commissioners voted 4 yes, 0 no. Motion passed. Public hearing was discussed. Misty made a slideshow made a slideshow that she presented to the Home Rule Study Commission for review. She will also send it to CELDEF for review. Misty Ettinger called Stacy Long. Stacy Long is a current supervisor of Grant Township, Pennsylvania, and a former Home Rule Study Commissioner of Grant Township. Ms. Long was placed on speakerphone and was introduced. Questions from the Highland Home Rule Study Commission were given to Ms. Long, along with questions from the audience in attendance. Ms. Long was very informative and answered all of the questions. She commented on how lucky we are to have the water system that we do, and it's currently clean and healthy, and she encourages Highland to do whatever is necessary to protect it. Ms. Long has also stated that she would be happy to help us in any way that she can in the future. Advertising was discussed for public hearing on July 31st. John Gurris and Tom Rossetti will get together and format them. They will send them via email to commissioners for approval and then send out. Ms. Ettinger has asked for a donation to help with the cost of these mailings from another local organization. Tom Rossetti will seek the cheapest way to get the mailings out and follow through. Interview with the Highland Township supervisors was discussed. Misty stated that she felt there was not much feedback given from the Highland supervisors, and all we can do is continue to seek information from them and give them the opportunities to be involved in this process. All Highland supervisors were also given a copy of the questions to allow them to provide answers. Matt Vaughn agreed with Misty's. The supervisors did not seem very interested in giving us answers. John Gurris made motion to go over August schedule. Misty Ettinger seconded. 3 meetings will be held in August. On the 4th at Snow Seekers, on the 18th at the Highland Sportsman's Club, and on the 31st at the Highlands Municipal Building in James City. If the Home Rule Study Commission decides to write a charter, it will need to be complete before September 5th in order to make the November ballot. Bill Ettinger made a motion to table discussion for the next public hearing date until after the vote is made on if a charter will be written. Matt Vaughn seconded. Commissioners voted 4 yes, 0 no. Motion passed. Misty Ettinger made a motion to pay the bills from the donations and things that were received. Bill Ettinger seconded. Commissioners voted 4 yes, 0 no. Motion passed. No new business to discuss. There is a final public comment period. No Highland taxpayer money has been spent to date in order to pay for any of Highland Home Rule's expenses. Adjournment. With no other immediate business on the table, John Gurris made motion to adjourn the meeting. Bill Ettinger seconded. Commissioners voted 4 yes, 0 no. Motion carried. Motion to
All right, so I make a motion to accept the 7/21/16 approval.
On 7/31, Highland Township Home Rule Study Commissioners' public hearing was held at the Highland Municipal Building at 1400 hours. Roll call. Commissioners: Amy Beers present, Misty Henninger present, William Ettinger present, John Gurus present, Lloyd Hewlings present, Matt Vaughn present, Judy Orzetti, the pending commissioner, was present. John Gurus opened the first public meeting with a prayer given by Judy Orzetti and the Pledge of Allegiance. Each of the Highland Home Rule Study Commissioners introduced themselves and gave reason as to why they volunteered to be on this committee. A brief public comment period was held. We heard from citizens about the Rails to Trails program and the concern of possible vandalism and break-ins. The citizens was advised to attend a regular Highland Township Supervisor meeting. Heard from a concerned citizen about getting rid of the current Board of Supervisors. The citizen stated, "We voted them in, we can vote them out." It was explained to the citizen that things do not work that way in Pennsylvania. It's very difficult to impeach a currently seated supervisor, and Highland will need someone to do the day-to-day operations of the township. Slideshow presentation. A PowerPoint presentation was given to explain that what home rule is, what research has been done this far by the commissioners, and what is being done, and what being a home rule municipality may mean to Highland for the future. Public comment period was again held. A concerned citizen asked about the Highland Home Rule Study Commission's job. Was if a charter was written and passed in Highland, it was stated to him that the Home Rule Study Commission would dissolve and the charter would replace the second-class township code. A referendum process was explained by Chad Nicholson from CellDef. Citizens asked how much the commissioners get paid. It's explained to him that the commissioners are not paid, that this is done done voluntarily. A concerned citizen asked for Misty Ettinger's copy of the second-class township code. It explained to him that there are notes and things in this used copy, and a new copy of the code will be available to him. A concerned citizen stated that she has been to every meeting and is very impressed with the job that the Home Rule Study Commission has done so far and the amount of work that has been done. She also pointed out that no taxpayer money has been spent to date for any of the commissioners' business, that all things have been donated with funds and supplies. Commissioner discussion period was held. John Gurus made motion to draft a home rule charter. Bill Ettinger seconded. Commissioners voted by show of hands, 6 yes, 0 no. Commissioner Judy Orzetti abstained from the vote at that time because she was not officially sworn into the seat yet. Motion was passed with much applause from the audience. John Gurus made a motion to adjourn the Highland Home Rule Study Commission's public hearing. Misty Ettinger seconded. Commissioners voted 6 yes, 0 no. Motion passed.
I'd like to say we have 3 extra copies of the minutes up here if anybody'd like them.
I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes.
I'll second that motion.
All right, I make a motion to go over treasurer's report.
Currently, there's $204.03 in our fund. We got our donations off from the beginning. We just recently got a $68 donation at the picnic and an $80.75 donation and a donation of $76.53, leaving us a total balance of $240.03. We do have 2 bills to pay for advertising. Each one of the bills are for less than $50 a piece here. The first bill is for $44.66. And the second bill is for $54.58. And this is for advertising. Oh, and nope, that's already paid.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second.
All right, make a motion to approve the agenda, today's agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Reminders, all okay. Oh, all right. I'd like to make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I second it.
All right, and reminders are all communications are public, and meeting conduct is based on Robert's rules. And old business, make a motion to talk about the vacancy and welcome Judy Orzetti.
Welcome.
Glad you're here.
To this date, the township has not received any public interest from any of Highland or Russell City or anything of being on this board either, to this date.
No, those were closed.
I know, but I didn't know
We
if any.
advertised for a while and we gave them a closed date, those were closed, and that's when we appointed Judy at the last meeting.
Yeah, I didn't know if anything came in after that or not, late ones.
We're supposed to answer.
Nothing.
Of what we could change. I'd like to also bring up a question on the, it says, do we want to write a new charter encompassing all things, or write a basic charter leaving most of the current second-class township code in place? We were supposed to get, like, the reasons why we think the ordinance or the second-class township code doesn't work and how we would fix it in the charter.
I think we're gonna start down there.
Yeah, whoever.
Go ahead, Mr. Matt, you wanna start?
Yeah, I think basically from my research, that I'd like to keep most of the second-class township book in existence. But from what we've been talking around with other people, and hopefully you guys have some more comments, I do see people bringing up concerns that people would like certain things wrote in. And that's why we're here.
Misty, your thoughts?
I'm pretty much the same. I think we should leave I don't think we should have to reinvent the wheel. I believe that a lot of the second-class township code works for Highland Township, but I believe that there are some things in there that do not work, such as vacancy on the Board of Supervisors. I believe that that should always be in the hands of Highland voters and never in the hands of an Elk County judge. I think we should have something in there to make sure that our local decisions stay local. I'm personally tired of, the county and telling us what we can and can't do and how we're supposed to do it and that kind of stuff. We're adults. We're a township full of, intelligent people. We can make decisions.
I also feel like that, our the current second-class township code is working just fine for us for the most part, but along with Misty, this letting a judge appoint a supervisor for us, that's just ridiculous. And he had no idea on a personal level or any idea of what this person was going to, represent to this township. And I don't, we should have had that right, not the judge.
All right, for me, it's the township code that doesn't have any Bill of Rights, so I would like to see written into it, basically, the Jack Shewell ordinance actually covers most of that, and it goes over the rights for people. And then the other one would be, people right now have no voice, just the 3 supervisors now currently do, and the way we would do that is if we had home rule, we would have the right for initiative and referendum. And possibly we could put in the charter a limit on taxes, because that was found to be something that we were discussing today. That's what so far.
Well, why I like a home rule is to put the power back into people so they can have a voice, like what we're saying, and give the rights back to the people, and listen to the people, find out what they want, and see if we can make our township stronger and maybe improve it, in areas that need to be improved. Is that all? Go ahead, Bill.
I agree that the second township closed is doing a lot of stuff for Highland Township. Also, I disagree on some of it needs to be changed, like on how they do the ordinances. Like if 2 township supervisors disagree on ordinances, they can do away with it without the people knowing. Give the right back to the people. Let the people decide whether they want that ordinance or they don't. Give them the right to allowed to have a say at the meetings. Give a right to the people that they know that when they take a petition up there, the township's just gonna go, yep, it looks good, throw it on the counter and that's it. Never look at it again. Give that right back to the people or make them responsible for their position.
Lloyd,
What?
your opinion?
I like Mr. McLean's idea. I think that it should be districts. There should be a representative from each part of Highland Township. I mean, and I like the public input because then it gives us the idea of what we need to write in here to protect ourselves. We're not here just to protect this group of people. We're here to try and protect this
Everybody.
group of people.
How do you say, the representative from each part, for what? To be our supervisors?
Sure. Why not
Is that what, I mean, is that?
Yeah.
I would like to see
because this-
somebody from
Because this
Highland.
abolishes, I mean,
No, I would like
Right.
to see somebody from Highland be a supervisor.
yeah, well, that's what I'm wondering.
I'd like to see somebody from, well, Jim Wolf is.
Because you
from
didn't
up
say
there.
supervisors, you kind of said it a different way, yeah.
Supervisors, as in the 3 supervisors that are elected.
Okay.
But I would like to see their terms shortened a little bit, instead of the 6 years, maybe a 3-year something, you know. Because
term limit,
they,
right.
yeah. But,
Actually, it's the longest, Highland Township and one other township, I'm getting tired of, man. I forget, we're the only ones that carry on a 6-year
Yeah.
term. Most majorities are 4-year terms.
I also think there needs to be something wrote in there that if they're not doing their job, being that it's difficult, to impeach them or to get them thrown out. You just can't vote them out, and that, I tried to explain that to Joe last meeting, but you just can't say you're out, and we're putting this guy in. But with home rule, we may have that chance to have a standby. That if somebody's not doing their job and they messed up and they get voted out, this person takes his place. And it
You
won't
still have to
matter.
wait until the next election. to do
Well,
that.
Bob, but you gotta look at it like this. Now, if they know there is an atonement for this, that if people really believe in something, they wanna take a petition around, and you take a petition up to them, I think they're gonna be a little more apt to act on it. If it's that important to you, we're not saying get
No,
rid
no,
of the
I
supervisor,
understand.
you know?
Okay.
All right, I'd like to speak about the August schedule. I'd like to make a motion to talk about the possible dates we want CELDEF possibly to come up.
Or which meeting?
We have 2 more left.
Yeah.
The next one's out in Russell City at the Sportsman's Club.
I make a motion, we have them here for both.
Okay. I second that. yeah.
I make a motion to have CELDEF here for both
Of our next meeting.
of our next meetings.
Right.
I agree.
I agree with that.
I agree.
And please come to the next meeting, please.
I want to make a motion, I want to thank you for coming, because what you just read the paper is just one side, you know.
Right.
But I like to hear it all, and I thank you for coming. Thank you.
Thank
We
you for having
appreciate
us.
it.
I don't mean to interrupt, but would you've never introduced yourself.
Oh,
I'm Matt Vaughn, ma'am.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
I'm Misty Ettinger from James City.
Amy Beers.
John Gurris from James City.
Judy,
What's his name?
John Gurris, Guras.
I'm Judy Orzetti.
I'm Bill Ettinger.
I'm Lloyd Gilmore.
All right, I make a motion to go over new business,
Okay.
Community Bill of Rights ordinance.
I have a copy of the actual Community Bill of Rights ordinance, if anybody would like to see that.
Okay.
And it's actually Marcia's copy, and I can actually get a copy of that for each one of us at our next meeting, so we can actually study that, see if that's something that we actually want to put in as a cornerstone for home rule charter
Okay.
or not. That way everybody has the exact wording of the Community Bill of Rights ordinance. And we can decide whether we want to make it a cornerstone or not.
All right, so you just have one copy right now?
I just have one copy right now.
Misty, could you have extras made, because I'd like to see one.
Yes, I'll have, at their next meeting, I'll have about 20 copies of it, so not only the 7 of us that can have it, everybody out here can also have a copy of that ordinance, because I think it's important, everybody in Highland Township should see what's going on, what that community rights is, because they'll see that it's not to protect James City, it's to protect Highland Township.
Yeah, you were asking earlier, what's these protections? It's outlined in the Bill of Rights that Missy said we would have at the next meeting?
Yes.
20 copies of it?
I'll have copies of it at the next meeting.
Missy, why don't we have a rough draft of what you people are talking about? You know, do a rough draft of what your petition's going to be, so that we have an idea of what your whole scheme is, instead of just the water company and this and that. I mean,
Right.
you know, the basics of what you're going to do.
Yeah.
It's just a rough draft,
Right.
not your final draft or anything like that. That would be nice. Then we'd have something that we could follow along, instead of talking the same thing over and over again.
Exactly.
And I don't think it would take a heck of a lot to have it drafted out.
No, actually, I'm started an outline, and that's how we're going to
Exactly what
start.
I'm saying.
Is an outline maybe that's available for the next meeting, and then from there, a rough draft, and then for our final public hearing, if we decide to have one, we'll have the home rule in its entirety, so people can see it, touch it, know what they're gonna vote
A
for
rough
in
draft
December.
would give us the basics of what you're
And
trying
we
to tell.
apologize for that too, John, because that's kind of why we want to come out here and hear more things, so we can get more things in this draft. We're trying to talk to everybody, you know, instead of just getting a snapshot. We don't want to give you something that we didn't talk to you, or give people the opportunity to talk to us, and they look at it and say, hey, this has nothing to do with me.
Yeah,
Well, a rough draft would give us
Good idea.
everybody the chance to see
What's going on?
positions and everything else, and then this is easier than to sit here and some of us have to talk a little louder than others, you know, I mean,
Right.
it's just, that's a little out of hand. Everybody's made pretty good points here, but if you folks that are in a position to do this would do it, you know, then we could sit here and say, well, geez, I disagree with this, I like this, this is a good idea. Can I put more input into this particular thing? This would be an asset to all of us, including you.
Right. That's what we're here for, to listen to everybody.
That's what it's basically, we want the Highland Township Charter to reflect the citizens.
Well,
as
that's
well
what
as-
I'm saying, if you
yeah.
had a rough draft,
Right.
instead of sitting here.
Yeah, I think we're capable of doing it now, because we really wanted to get the meeting out here before we wanted to have the opportunity to talk to more people out here.
There's not too many people out here, but there are some down the street.
Well, just for example, the districts, the redistrict option you brought up, and the tax limitations, and the 4-year term that you were talking about, these are all things that are,
I think what he's saying is he'd like something written down so we can look at it.
Yeah,
It says
rough draft.
all the
Yes.
suggestions that you all made.
yeah, in the next meeting, we'll have this all together. I mean, these suggestions,
Suggestions that
and also the Bill of Rights ordinances, yeah.
And if anybody wants that email,
And if anybody wants to email any of their suggestions,
then we can email
Okay.
out too.
Thanks.
okay,
The newsletters and that.
okay,
Mr. Gurris.
yeah.
This may be a little bit, not where you guys are going or anything like that, but like these township supervisors that are in there today and have been in there in the past, you know, there's people that have full-time jobs and there's people that is retired and so forth. And my understanding is that the township pays, at the present time, pays all their health insurance.
After 2 years, you have to be elected the second term.
Okay, but now if you're a full-time employee of, say, National Fuel Gas, and National Fuel Gas has excellent health insurance, why am I paying for you to go on the township health insurance policy when you already have it? Or if you're on, or if like, I'm retired and I was to get, you know, by some wild stretch of the imagination, get into this business, and I go in the door and say, hey, well, you know? I don't want Medicare anymore. I want you guys, you know, I want the township has a habit of paying for your health insurance. Why should the township pick up $1,000 bill a month for me?
Well, to give you an example, West Deer has a charter and written into it, they don't compensate their supervisors for the meetings. But the insurance issue, I don't know, but, I mean, that
You
could,
understand
that
where
could
I'm
be
going.
looked into, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
It can be looked into because
Yeah.
right now,
You know,
I
there's
don't
people
know.
around this township are worried about that, you know, the township don't have any money, or, you know, they look at the aspect of, man, they're throwing money away right and left, and by the same token, as everybody knows here, health insurance is a very expensive item.
yes.
Yeah.
And if you have somebody else is paying for it, or if you're on Medicare or whatever the situation may be,
That's a good point.
why should the township have to pick up that bill?
I know I haven't looked into that yet, I mean,
With even
and I
another
will.
thing up there, and it gets
That's
back
another
to
good
your-
idea.
your
Yeah,
disclosure
I'll look into that,
crap.
or we can all look into that.
Change the locks up there. That was a $600 and some bill. They said somebody was brought up in meetings, somebody was stealing diesel fuel. There was never a police report filed. So that's kind of telling me, and I don't want to think for somebody else, that somebody had a grudge, they wanted the locks changed, to try and close ranks and do something. Something doesn't seem right. Why would you have the locks changed when it's been like that for the past 20, 30 years?
And $600 of our money to
Of our
change the
money.
locks.
To change the locks?
To change
For
the
nothing.
Change the
locks,
locks,
Right.
yeah.
For change the locks for
Change
nothing.
the whole thing.
Oh,
They
okay.
changed
And not
the
to mention, how many extra meetings have they had?
whole- Special
And getting
meetings.
paid for it,
I
and
mean,
what, $70, $60?
$70 a
Maybe
piece.
it could be done on a voluntary
and it was
basis.
actually brought up, I brought it
I
up.
mean, we're doing this
And I
volunteer.
agree with you, John, they're horrible.
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
I hate volunteering.
Why
I
do we
brought
have
it
to
up,
pay
and
a
I said, why are you
supervisor to
having
be a
special
supervisor?
meeting? And the one supervisor goes, well, we're not even getting paid, and I go, I beg to differ, and I asked the secretary, they were getting paid for a special meeting. That's where we're trying to streamline a little bit, and make it run better. I don't think it's running the way it should be.
Yeah, I think if it was the community,
Figure out where the money comes.
the efficiency would be
I've
more.
been looking into this a little bit.
We gotta get to public comment,
Yeah,
let's public
we'll talk
comment.
Yeah, let's public
Yeah.
comment, let's get to,
All right, let's
me
get
and Bill
back
have
on
to
public
leave.
comment.
Yeah, because we're already late.
Yeah.
Let's go to this.
All right,
Let's go to our committee.
yeah. I'd like to go over, make a motion to go over the committee reports, about public outreach and communications.
Tom, do you have
Tom?
anything?
No, other than we sent the flyers out.
How much did that cost?
I have the bill for you. It was.
I think it was like $72.
For James City, it was, about $23
Okay.
for Highland Township, and unfortunately some of Jones Township, because that's how we had
Yeah.
to do it.
Right?
It was, I think about $35 to get it to everybody's mailbox.
Right. And was that for just one sheet of paper? Can we stuff whatever we?
I have to figure that out yet. It has to be so thick, but I don't know if 3 or 4 pages would add to it or not. So I have to, we don't have all the information yet on that,
Okay,
but hope it has to.
okay.
All right, we open up the public comments.
Got a couple things.
We have to limit this to 15 minutes.
All right,
Okay.
is there any plans in any of you guys' heads that the governing body will change? It will still be our 3 supervisors, or is it gonna change?
No, we
Well,
don't.
based on what you guys were speaking about here, I mean, we may look
Definitely
at
something to
changing,
consider now.
term limits. May look at,
I mean, are we still
insurance.
gonna go with the 3-man?
Three-man
Yes,
supervisor.
Oh, yeah.
we have a choice to
That's all-
go.
That's it, that's all I
Yeah.
wanted to know.
Would you like to see a
That's the
change?
end of that
I have
question.
a question. That's governed by the state.
That's fine,
to
I
our
got my answer,
population.
that's fine.
Well, we do have a choice of 3 or 5, and 5 is for more public
You guys, I
population,
didn't
right?
quite get the answer when I said, the petition, if I take a petition around, how many signatures do I need?
10%.
Before it goes to the ballot,
Currently 10%.
and that's 10%
Of the last-
the population, or
no.
10% of the
No.
voting
Of the
population?
last voters in the last gubernatorial race, which would have been around 217,
217.
so it would be
you're
about
roughly
22.
22
27.
people is all you need to get something okay.
Right now, yes.
And that's currently, we can change that in the charter, we can make that a higher percentage or a lower percentage, because like you had commented earlier, well, holy cow, it's James City, it's going to be cumbersome, and everybody's going to do this and throw their 10-man petitions out there just to make our government mayhem and cumbersome. So we can actually change that in the home rule charter if that's something, you
That
change
would be
that
something
10%.
that we definitely need
Right, you
higher
could-
than that, I mean.
A few
because-
charters have
What number
50%.
what number would you, and it's gotta work both ways. I know you're asking a question, but I gotta ask you back. What-
I'd say 50.
Would you like to see 50%?
Yeah, that-
No, not 50%, I would like to see 50 people.
Okay.
Well, there's
At
a
least on
couple,
a petition, because you're not gonna get everybody, everybody's not gonna be home, but
I
I would just like to see it
think
higher
it
than.
should be too many.
I do too, there's not.
Because
50
here it
people.
is, in order just for instance, to get on the ballot, to get one of these positions, what do you need?
25.
Seven?
9.
Okay.
Nine.
You need
Judge of
9
election, I
votes,
need
you need
five
9
signatures.
signatures from a registered voter
Okay, I'm sorry.
to run for supervisor. That's all you need.
How many?
9.
9.
Yeah, so why would I need significantly more than that? 3, 5
Well, this is
times?
just for people signing a petition.
I understand that, but why would I need 5 times that many to sign to get a petition in front of the supervisors than it does to run for supervisor?
You're not really putting it in front of supervisors,
Well-
you're putting it to a ballot.
well,
Right.
like to mention, some other charters have it at 50%, and it's to make it so it's not something that people can easily do, and it's
So
like,
you have to really work at what you.
you have to work
You
at
have
it.
to be
If it's something,
committed. At
yeah, you have
9
to be
people,
committed
You don't
to
need
it.
to be committed, you can go get 9
How
people.
the hell can you find 50 people would agree with anything in this town?
Ask Marcia Buell.
That's how it is. 30 might make it, but 50 will never get it. There's not 50 people that agree with each other.
Right.
That's close.
I mean, that's part of our discussion, what we're gonna
People
do.
in here right now that wouldn't agree with each other.
Right.
I think actually we're all agreeing pretty good.
But I don't think-
term limits.
I think we're getting some.
All right, we'll do that.
All right, you're talking, you were gonna say something?
He was just agreeing with the term limits.
Term limits.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
They're not Supreme Court judges, they should answer.
And Matt, you were saying that we were like one of
There's
the
only
last?
I don't know, I'm almost 100% sure there's only 2 townships in all of Pennsylvania have a 6-year term. Most of the majority is 4 years. I mean, to me, 4 years is a good number because to get somebody newly elected, it's gonna take them a year, year and a half to get their feet wet.
Right.
And
Any other?
I have a question about voting. You said that if something comes up, it gets voted on, is that what, you know, if there's a petition or something, then people vote on? How often is that gonna be?
Twice a year, just like it is now. Home rule has no jurisdiction over when or where elections are held.
I'd like to say that Grand Township, though, is one of the first townships that has added this to their charter, which is a public hearing, emergency public hearing section in there.
Can I
where-
stop you for a second?
Yeah.
Are you talking about getting a petition so if you want something changed,
Let me tell you what I'm talking about. I got,
be voted on?
well, maybe I'm wrong here, but in Pennsylvania, you have to, people that aren't registered to a public, or a political party can't vote in the spring, as far as I know. Well, how can I vote if I'm independent?
You can't. You can't vote on
You
it.
can't.
Well, see, that's not right, I don't think.
No, you still
because this
can.
isn't a party affiliation.
Yeah, it's,
Right.
Where
there,
this isn't
it's a bipartisan,
And I know the answer is asked before.
I feel your
They
pain.
asked
I
if we
was
were 3
nonpartisan for
Republicans
many
or 3
years,
Democrats.
but the government
Honestly,
told
we've
me
never
that
discussed our party
you
affiliation.
hadn't.
Because we've been looking at it, we've never discussed it.
And none of us know.
I'm
what the
not
other
sure I
one's
got
on.
my question answered though. What were you talking
Yeah, I
about? You're saying I can come and vote even if I'm not
Right.
registered to.
Because you're not voting for somebody, you're not voting for your
No, I
party's
was-
affiliation.
I didn't want us to be confused. Now, are you talking about voting like you're gonna vote for the president?
Well, I
or
can't
if
vote
you
in the
have-
spring because I'm.
Vote on the petition.
I'm an
Vote on
independent.
the
Yeah.
petition.
You can
So
vote
how
on
do
the
you go about
local.
doing that when you
You
come in
can't
to
come here
vote?
and sign up, you can't sign up anywhere.
And just
Oh, yeah.
when this Home Rule Study Commission was voted in on the primaries, okay? And independents weren't allowed to vote in the primaries, but the independents would have come in and
Yes.
voted for the Home Rule Study Commission. So if there is a question on the ballot and somebody's an independent, they have the right to come in and vote for that.
just for that, right?
You're exactly
Just
right,
for
Tom,
that, they can't
because
vote on anything
at the-
else.
In the spring election, there was independents that came in and voted on the initiatives that were on the ballot. They didn't vote for
This is the initiative.
whoever
Right.
was running for president or anything like that, but they could vote on the initiatives.
Like the one was the
Do
Supreme
you
Court.
understand that?
Correct.
Rose?
Yeah.
I think so. I think I'll have to come up here, you know, I never come up in the spring to vote because I'm not a member of a party, but I guess I'll have to stop in and check in and see if there's anything on the ballot
Yes.
Yes,
about the home rule thing.
right,
And
If it
that
ever
is
gets that
correct.
far.
on election day, you know, when you come to any of the polls, there's a sample ballot there. And if there's initiatives on it, it's on all the ballots, whether it be a Republican ballot or a Democratic ballot.
If you want to make your life easy, just register Democrat, Republic, and then to answer your question of half Democrat, half Republican, I'm registered Democrat, not that I want to be. I'm going to vote for Trump, by the way. But it's
a whole
very
other thing.
nonpartisan with me. I'm open to all suggestions.
Right,
But to be able to vote when I wanted to, or when the government wanted me to, I had to go Democrat or Republican. And at the time, it was just eeny, meeny, miny, moe at the driver's license center. Democrat came up. I don't stand for Democrat, I don't stand for Republican, I stand for what's right.
that's the way a lot of us, that was brought up at the last meeting, that's the way a lot of us are up here. We're not Democrats, we're not Republicans. This is just a committee, Highland Township Committee, Study Commission for Highland Township.
I have another
That's
question.
it.
Good.
What about, let's say, I mean, this is all about, I got this in my mailbox, okay? I don't know if it's because I'm a voter or because
you're
I have a
resident.
mailbox.
Because you
Everybody.
We have a mailbox.
But there's a lot of people in this township that own property here and say have camps and all that. Of course, they can't vote here. Okay, what if they have a problem about something? Do they have any choice to?
As a
What do they-
property owner in the referendum process,
Yeah.
they still have their referendum process.
Right,
I'm
they
a
can-
registered voter here, and I still pay taxes here.
Yeah,
And
but
if I have a problem, I'm gonna go see somebody and tell them what my problem is.
Well, you probably have to let people know, if this ever gets to where it's gonna be voted on, these people are probably gonna have to know, I would think that they have some right to, you know, at least to complain if they have a problem.
Anybody that owns property here should be able to vote on anything.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
So the initiatives.
So you give somebody that owns property here and owns property in Butler, and they reside in Butler, and they pay less taxes here than they do on property in Butler because of its occasional residence or whatever, however the
Camp.
situation is, and you give that person the same voice that you have, well,
They own property.
Never thought of it that way, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I never did either.
They don't pay as many taxes, I agree with that. I agree with that, but I
there you
just,
go. So they have a voice in their home county, and they come here and have a voice.
I meant
So-
just in this home rule stuff.
Yeah, but
Well, what if all the township people gang up on them and they get a petition that, all right, well, they start paying all the regular taxes, just like we do.
Well,
In which
they
they
don't-
could do that, and a lot of the township people would vote for that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, if they wouldn't have a say in it, that wouldn't be fair.
As long as you're a taxpayer, don't you have the right?
I don't know how that works.
No,
Currently, you do
they don't
not.
have the right now.
Yeah, currently you do not have the right. Just because you pay taxes does not give you any rights in Highland Township.
Nope.
You have to reside there.
Yes.
So we could just, with this home rule, we could up their taxes and we don't have to pay any of them.
I'll have to look into that. I'm actually writing this down so you.
Take that into consideration. Tax or rich, we'll get back.
I'm for that, by the way.
What's next?
American like that.
Still, we're still
Still
in public
public
comment.
We're still
comment.
We still have like
Still
2
public
minutes.
comment?
Any other public comments?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.